Hello, influencers. How are we doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching us. Thank you for holding forth. I appreciate you. So they have called him a rat. They have called him short man from Uyo, all sorts of names. And these are people that are supposed to be pastors. Enenche, Paul Enenche referred to him as a rat. Son Johnson Suleiman said short man from Uyo. But one thing that is constant is that they didn't have the nerve to call his name. They didn't have the boldness to say this is who we are referring to. Welcome to the word of Dr. Abel Damina, who has been shaking, in fact, he has been breaking tables in the kingdom, in the Christendom. So there was a Nedu podcast and his team. Thank you so much. I'm going to use their video. I hope that what's it called, copyright something is on it, and if he's on it, I will seek. I don't mind for the for the proceed to go to them, because I mean they did a good job. Dr. Abel Damina, shed light on a lot of issues. One of the issues he addressed in that podcast was his relationship with Paul Enenche. I have done a video on it in the past, that he ordained Paul Enenche, and Paul Enenche did Ibiyo may deny on behalf of Paul Enenche. I think I used a video of Pastor Joshua Telena, who said it, that it was the Dr. Damina that ordained Enenche. It's not about ordination or no ordination. That's not what my concern is. But if you are if you are now falling apart, falling off with someone that was your mentor because he's trying to correct some abnormalities in the Christendom, then it's a big deal. So I will let us watch what Nedu and his team did on this podcast. I'm sure you have seen some of it, but if I just extract, I don't know, it's over 2 hours long podcast. I just want to extract from it and let us see.
What's the issue you have? Because a lot of people say you have issues with Pastor Enenche. I mean, is there any problem?
I don't have any issues with him. I was teaching years ago in a ministers' conference.
Yes.
And I was teaching the pastors, and I told them an illustration. I used Enenche's illustration, how that he used to be under me, working in my branch church in Jos.
Yes.
Under Reverend Joshua Talena.
Oh, he's your boy?
Yes, under Reverend Joshua Talena, actually.
Wow.
Joshua Talena is my boy. He grew up under me with Paul Odola and all of them. And then I was giving the illustration of how he wanted to go into ministry.
Okay.
But he decided to go to the UK for for master's degree with his wife.
Okay.
But he didn't know anybody in London.
Okay.
Now, Becky's mother, the wife's mother, was the treasurer of our church in Jos for years, her mother. In fact, we played a role in making the mother allow them get married, because there was a little opposition, and I know I spoke to the mother personally. But that by the side. So I was giving this illustration of how he came to me, and he said, if I have people in the UK that can give him scholarship, him and his wife want to go and read masters, so that when they come back from the UK, they can start medical missions from village to village and all of that. So I told him, okay, they gave me the letters. I still have copies of the letters. So I said, okay, I'll pray about it and I'll talk to you guys. I gave them my guest house, they stayed. My guest room, they stayed. I prayed that night, and in the morning, the Spirit of God spoke to me that no, he shouldn't go to London. He should go and start ministry now. And I woke up in the morning and I called him and the wife and I told them and I prayed for them. And he said to me, but he doesn't know where to go. And I said, I hear Abuja in my mind. Pray about it. And he said, okay, but I don't have anybody in Abuja. And I told him, when you get to Abuja, when you get to Jos, go to Abuja, arrive early in the morning. Just do evangelism on the streets. As you begin to preach, you will come across somebody who will receive the gospel and give you a place to stay. And exactly like I said, it happened. So I was giving that illustration and I mentioned all of that. Then after a few years, I began to hear that they were saying that I didn't ordain Paul Enenche, that Paul Enenche doesn't know me, that I'm envious is because his church is bigger than mine. That's why I'm trying to identify with him by force. And all those talks began to come out. And then people started asking those questions again. And I said, I have nothing to benefit in saying I used to know Paul Enenche. I ordained him in February 1996 in Uyo Powercity on the 7th.
Oh, wow.
7th February 1996. The guest speaker that preached that day before I ordained him is Archbishop Isaac Idahosa.
Wow.
Who was the vice presidential candidate of NNPP. He preached that day. Panampesi Paul sang with his team. Aide was there. Tom Moses was there. They sang before I ordained him. So it was not done at the back. It was done right in front of people. There are members in my church today who were there when it happened. Lawyers, doctors, they were all there on that day in February 1996. And then he went to Abuja and started the church. And when the church was to move into Sheraton, because they had a guy called Adamu who received Enenche, gave him a place to stay in Abuja. His name is Adamu. And this Adamu of a guy sponsored for them to move into Sheraton because the parlor they were using was no more enough. So when they moved into Sheraton and got the smallest room in Sheraton that takes 80 people, he called me to come and preach. I went to Mina to preach for somebody. I had to come back to Abuja to come and preach for him. And on my way, I took Archbishop John Praise and Bishop Jonas Katung. They are ministers, they are still alive. They came with me and I preached for him in that 18 people service. Then after that, we arranged a conference where I went to Abuja in 1997 January. And I preached. And after the preaching, Archbishop Idahosa was with me. Archbishop started telling them, all of you need to come to Uyo for Power Word Convention in February. Because then all the people that submit to me spiritually, when I'm doing my convention, they come from all with their church members to attend. You understand? So when they began to say that I didn't ordain him and all kinds of things began to fly, I just went to my archives and I pulled out the first video and I threw it out. Videos don't lie. And I have others. But I didn't want to get to that level.
Did he say you did or he said you didn't?
He has not said I did or I didn't. But his friend Ibiome in a...
Okay, we will do, and I think I will do something else on Ibiome. So overall, this man has his facts and figures. That's Dr. Abel Damina. You heard him. He called names. He said he still have a copy of the letter that Paul Enenche brought to him. That was he and his wife were going to London. You heard all that. So my concern is, why is it about this offering tithing that there's so much on the neck of Dr. Abel Damina? I think Christendom, it's high time that these people get their act together. It's high time, because this man said he was like them. He was a prosperity preacher like them until something shifted. So I want to say a big thank you to the Glitch Studio Africa. Thank you so much for this job. I can't imagine what will have cost you the time, the dexterity for you to get Pastor Damina, Abel Damina, to come and speak on your podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I said it on a video few weeks back. Pastor Joshua Terena himself said what Pastor Abel Damina is teaching is the truth. But they are not ready. He said that's what they will teach in another 10 years. I have the video. I'm going to throw it out, sometimes. And Joshua Terena has said that Enenche was ordained by Damina. So I don't know what the problem is with, although I know the problem, because he's now hitting them hard on all these different form of offerings that they have, all these arranging miracles that we've been talking about. Is God in the business of doing miracles? Yes. But when we cast aspersion to his name, when we slander his name, that's where the problem lies. And it's unfortunate. That's what is happening in the church these days. Miracle will end. prophecy will end. Is that anyway? Okay, let me just, I will say more in order that I don't want my videos to be too long. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I will talk to you again in another podcast. Bye.